Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, Ambassador Lipstadt, colleagues, friends, and distinguished Holocaust survivors here with us today. 64 years ago, at the trial of the arch-Nazi Adolf Eichmann, the legendary Israeli Attorney General Gideon Hausner opened the prosecution with a haunting message that has been etched into the Jewish ethos. But should he be giving his speech today, these would be his words. When I stand before you here, I am not standing alone. With me are 6 million accusers who perished in the Holocaust. And with me are the 1,200 accusers who were butchered on October 7th. With me are the 136 hostages still being held in Hamas terror tunnels. But they cannot rise to their feet and point an accusing finger, for their ashes are strewn in the fields of Auschwitz and Treblinka, in the fields of Be'eri and Kfar Aza. Their screams are not palpable from the terror tunnels under Gaza. Their blood cries out, but their voices are not heard. So I shall be their voice. From the crimes of the Nazis and their collaborators until the crimes of Hamas and radical Islam today, the genocidal ideology of exterminating the Jews has remained the same. Today is not only a day of remembrance. This day was designated to also prevent future acts of genocide, to internalize the lessons of the Holocaust, to never be silent, as silence, in the words of Elie Wiesel, encourages the tormentor, never the tormented, and indifference, not death, is the opposite of life. On October 7th, Hamas terrorists murdered, raped, beheaded, and burned families alive. They gunned down young people at a music festival as if it was Babi Yar, and turned entire communities to ash. Every decent, every moral person understands that this was an attempted genocide. We have heard the testimonies of Holocaust survivors who, once again on October 7th, had to face those who seek to wipe the Jews from the earth. Ruth Haran, an 88-year-old resident of Kibbutz Be'eri and a Holocaust survivor, described seeing the corpses of children and babies strewn across the lawns of her community. Her son was murdered. Her daughter, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren were taken hostage. She survived humanity's darkest moment, and what she experienced on October 7th was, in her own words, a genocide. Hamas Nazis came to murder Jews as if we are subhuman. Hamas came to exterminate us, and they have sworn to repeat these horrors again and again and again until Israel and the Jews are destroyed. Every Jew is murdered. Ladies and gentlemen, to this day, no UN institution has condemned the October 7th massacre. It's shocking. Even the International Court of Justice for heaven's sake, did not see it morally fitting to condemn Hamas's barbaric massacre against our children and people. This silence is unfathomable. The United Nations was founded upon the commitment to prevent atrocities, to prevent genocide, to be a living testament that never again is not just a slogan, but an action plan. Yet today, the UN has become one of the weapons in the arsenal of modern-day Nazis against us. Every UN body has become weaponized against the Jewish state, exploited as an instrument to aid in the elimination of my people. How symbolic it is, how symbolic is it that on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, it was exposed that UNRWA employees took part in the massacre. The UN is not only weaponized to delegitimize our existence, but also to physically exterminate us. Contemplate this. Today of all days, the day that we commemorate the genocide of the Jewish people and swear here never again, the International Court of Justice made it clear that it won't reject outright the case of a Nazi terror organization that seeks to commit genocide against the Jewish people. It's outrageous. Every year we dedicate this day to discuss the surging Jew hatred poisoning the world. And this year, the year in which the largest number of Jews were massacred since the Holocaust, anti-Semitism has risen to heights not seen since the Nuremberg laws. We can only draw one conclusion, a sad conclusion. The UN has failed in its mission, has failed. I will not stand here and list all the UN's shortcomings in combating anti-Semitism. I will not discuss the singling out of Israel at the Human Rights Council, the bias of the WHO, or all other UN bodies. It's plain and clear. If you count the number of UN resolutions and condemnations, it's obvious that Israel, the only vibrant liberal democracy in the Middle East, is the #1 threat to world peace. But we know what we are outside of this building. We know very well. And I pray here today, I pray that one day the UN will cease its indifference, cease its lies, cease siding with terrorists, that the UN will stand by Israel's side, stand by its founding ideals. We, the Jewish people, understand the meaning of genocide more than any other people. We have been persecuted for millennia, and Hitler seared the meaning of genocide into our DNA. But on October 7th, Hamas tore open that wound. On International Holocaust Remembrance Day, the day that even the ICJ proved to the world that the lessons of the Holocaust were not learned, I stand here in the name of the State of Israel, in the name of all those murdered by the Nazis and Hamas, and I swear we will not forget. Never again is now. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.